So today we're asking the question. Yeah. It's her body, her choice, right? We have the right not to be mothers, right?
100%, yeah.
So
yeah. So I was about to say I've got a strong opinion about it because I don't really want kids, and I can just imagine like how horrible it would be if you don't have a choice to like, do you know what I mean? Like get rid of the baby.
So the question is, should men have the right then not to be fathers? So if a woman gets pregnant and he says, I want to renounce paying child support, would you support that? So he can sign off all of his rights.
And leave it with the mother.
Yeah, because we get the right to get rid of the kid if we want. Shouldn't he have the same right in the name of like equality?
That's a tough one because I guess that would be fair because it's the same as the mum giving up the child, but then it's not really in their body, so I don't know how different it is really.
So because the problem we're having is it incentivizes women to get kids off of rich guys. So for example, the NBA has issued statements telling players to flush their condoms because girls will steal them, because they know if they get a kid off of them, they're entitled to child support for 18 years.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And even Drake, I don't know if you heard about when he put hot sauce in his condom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the girl tried to sue him over it.
Shit. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah. So it's like when we're seeing things like that, it begs the question, like, should men have the right not to be a father too? And you would say...
Yeah, 100% to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, well, we agree then. Thanks for stopping.
Sorry.
A man who abandons his child is a deadbeat dad, correct?
Not really. There are like, do you want me to elaborate? There are like many conditions that allow for that to be possible and morally permissible. In most cases, it's to do with ties in a lot with poverty. But you know, I don't know if the label of deadbeat dad is like all encompassing. I think selective cases maybe.
Sorry, I meant society calls them a deadbeat dad, correct?
100%. I think that's something that's pretty well known.
So if a mother abandons her child, why do we call it the right to choose?
Well, I don't really see that as abandonment because obviously when we're talking about the idea of a deadbeat dad, we're talking about a child that's you know been born, raised by a single mother in that instance. But a woman abandoning her child, that's not referred to as the right to choose. They're different things. If a woman left their child after their child was born, then if they're not being called out, then you can make that argument.
What about adoption?
What about adoption?
Well, that's also the right to choose, right? So I'm saying, like, even if a woman gives up her child, we don't call her a deadbeat mom, even after it's born.
Oh, see, sure, sure. Okay, yeah.
So I'm asking, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? Possibly because I think that there needs to be more leniency on the side of women in that regard, because I think that women who have to give their children up for adoption, it is very different circumstances in the majority of cases from a man, leaving the family home or divorcing or separating.
Well, so why is it different? Because, I mean, it doesn't mean they were together if you get pregnant, right? It just means they were sleeping together. So how is it different if a man doesn't want to be a father than if a woman doesn't want to be a mother? Because to me, it's like, it's the same thing.
Sure, okay, and I'll follow that line of reasoning then. So let's say it is the same thing. What does that insinuate for you?
What does insinuate? What do you mean?
So you're saying that you think it is the same thing? Yeah. You think that they are equivalencies? So what does that insinuate for you? What does that lead on to? Do you see that as a big problem that they're viewed the same, or do you see that as the right thing? Do you see that as not very common that they're viewed the same?
Well, I think women are given passes for doing the same thing that men do.
There's a reason why women are given passes in areas where men don't.
Why?
Because of a pre-existing privilege that men have in the majority of cases in life, in society.
How do men have a privilege?
How do men have privilege?
Yeah, when they're the majority of suicides, when they do the majority of hard jobs, they have to fight in wars.
Okay, so okay. I think that if what you're asking and what we're going to have to talk about is where men have privileges, then we're not going to be able to have this argument with this debate. We're not going to be able to talk about this because we're just simply not on the same level of understanding about society as a whole. If you're unable to understand that men have privilege in the majority of cases and that there is an underlying privilege that all men have by nature of a patriarchy.
Well, I'm asking like what stats do you have to back that up, right? So I would say like men also make up the majority of homeless. Okay. So how can you say that women have an easier life?
Whoa.
Okay. So I just want to know what privilege are you talking about?
Okay, I'll talk about what I mean by privilege. I'm talking about an underlying societal condition that allows for men to be paid more. Okay. Allows for men to we talk about heinous crimes. And that's something that, because of the condition of men, you see, I believe that it's because of our economic state. Okay.
Men are more likely to be victims of a violent crime than women.
Hey, but not a sexual violent crime.
Well, I think it goes underreported, to be honest.
Both go underreported, don't they? Because women also don't report at the same level that is the potential of the amount of women who've been abused. That goes underreported as well, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think
I actually might have a stat for that, which is that only 1 in 3 sexual assaults are reported to the police.
So the stat that's often referred to is that 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 women are victims of sexual assault. So they actually would include if a woman is drunk and has sex in that stat. So I'm saying so that they throw that stat around a lot and it's not actually accurate.
I've got my friends here from Sweden. I'm gonna put an end to this because and the reason I'm gonna say that, okay, is that, as I've said, if you're unable to understand the means at which men are privileged in society over women.
You're telling me I'm oppressed?
Sorry?
You're telling me I'm oppressed?
Sorry? What do you?
You're explaining my oppression to me?
Do you feel oppressed?
No.
Okay, well then it's not an issue for you, is it? But there are many women who do.
There's a lot of women that don't.
Are we talking globally here?
Are we talking? What do you mean by that?
Well, I know that.
I'm talking about the Western world. We're in England, U.S.
Okay, why don't we take it global? Why not talk globally?
Because we're in the UK and I'm from the US.
Okay, so in the US, do you feel that you have the same allowances of privilege than men?
I think I have more privilege than most men. So the statement means, right, women, we have the right, if we get pregnant, we have the right not to be mothers, right?
Yeah.
Should men then, in the name of equality, have the right not to be fathers? Their wallet, their choice. They can sign off on child support. Why?
Right, no, because if you had sex with a woman, you fully know well that one of the consequences is that you will fully pregnant her and you have a child. So you have to look after the child, as that's your responsibility. Your sperm, your responsibility. Okay, you can't run away from that. Okay, I don't understand why people in their mind think it's alright to run away from the child. That's a child. You're leaving them with so much trauma, having no dad and everything. That will leave them with severe ideas of how they think about men, because